Hi, everyone. Marianne Croce here from Small Biz Vantage and the creator of 3 Day Weekends Coaching. And I am excited on Tuesdays to do these business leadership in 15 minutes. I do these for a couple of reasons for those that don't know me or haven't been on here before. And the reason I do them is the first is for you to shift your perspective or your vantage, if you will, turn it into your competitive edge, give you a new perspective, right? A way to look at your business. The other is for you to take away one thing that you can implement, that you can apply to your business during the week. We do this all in 15 minutes each week. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's also in the coaching space. And it was funny because one of the most common questions he gets asked, and I do too, but I never really thought of it that way, is, who do you work with? And it's funny because I think get asked that question all the time. So I work with small business owners who are in the skilled trades, automotive and construction, plumbers, roofers, those types of groups. They're near and dear to me. I grew up in the industry and I absolutely love and admire their grit and their drive as well. And I work with people that have teams. And my specialty, who I will really enjoy working with, is family businesses. Because if it isn't a challenge enough to learn to work in your business and run a business, right? Besides having that talent of your trade, your skill, family nuances add a whole nother dimension. So I really love those groups as well. So let's get started. And if you find this week's business leadership training valuable, please share it. Share it with someone, another business owner who could use the help because we can all learn from one another. So this week's topic is get out of your own way. And I want to share with you 5 techniques. So when I share these 5 techniques with you, keep in mind which of these techniques work best for you. You may have even tried some of them, and I'm curious. And if you're on live, put it in the chat. And if you're on the replay, then definitely put it in the comment section because I'm curious. And the reason why I chose this topic is we all tend to get in our own way from time to time. And in preparation for this live, I wanted to ask a number of people, what does getting in your own way mean to you? And most everyone told me it was some form of when you're stopping yourself or you're holding yourself back from moving forward. And they gave me all kinds of examples, from like weight loss or moving up in your career, all kinds of different things, relationships, all of that. But most agreed that it was hard to see it, see yourself getting in your own way when it was happening. A lot of times they said they had to step back, and it could happen both personally and professionally. Everyone that I had talked to had agreed. So it was kind of like an informal survey, but I just wanted to get an idea of how people were thinking, right? So we know this happens, and it's hard to identify it when it's happening. And why is that? What's going on, right? So when I think about it, life happens. That's why it's hard to get out of your own way. And an example of this would be, your business owners, your leaders in a business, you have a full workload and someone calls out. Another example would be you're on your way to a meeting or an event and all of a sudden you get a flat tire. Or maybe even you have something scheduled and you have a family member that needs you. And you're saying, oh my gosh, this is like the worst possible time something like this could happen. And a lot of times when these things happen to us, we tend to believe that these are all external things and they're happening to us. We're kind of like a victim in the sense. You don't have any control over others or the situation. This is how we view it when this is happening. But if you look deeper, you really can have a way to deal with these things. So, using the examples that I gave, being shorthanded at work, let's use that one. There are ways to talk to your customers and clients about maybe a delay or, a change that you have to make because someone's not in, or you may have to have someone else step up. So having a good relationship with your team is key because you can have those conversations and you may have someone help you out that day. Hey, so and so, would you be able to help me with XYZ today because we have a team member that's out? Getting a flat tire. So, very simple. There's such a thing called roadside assistance, right? It's something that you can pay for on an annual basis and they can get you back on the road. Another thing you could do is you could take a cab or call rideshare or even rent a vehicle for the day if you have a lot of things that you need done. You could learn how to change a tire. There's a lot of things that you could do, but it doesn't mean that the whole day is lost or the whole day is ruined. And then the last example, your family needing you. Now, I remember dealing with this with my grandmother. Aging parents, aging grandparents, there are going to be times that something like that may happen, or it could even be a child that may need you. But the idea is, what's the backup plan? Have a backup plan ahead of time. And who can you get to help out? Do you have other family members? Is it a neighbor? Is there a babysitter? What arrangements have you made ahead of time? I know that when my children were little, I had a backup plan for evenings, I had a backup plan for weekends, and I had a backup plan for the days when I was working. So I had three different plans because I knew that situations weren't going to happen, all at the same time or the most convenient time. So the goal here is not to self-sabotage. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Instead, expect things to come up or maybe go sideways from time to time, but prepare for it with a plan. Because when you do that, it's so much easier to be flexible and adaptable when things happen. You're not in the panic mode. Owners and leaders, the best owners and leaders are the ones that can keep it all together. Think about it. If there is a burning building somewhere and someone is calmly getting everyone out of the building and there's a system and a process in place and everyone knows where the exits are, people tend to be more calm. But if you have the leaders losing it and screaming and yelling and not knowing where to go, everyone else panics as well. So as owners and leaders, we have to be in control. Very important to do that so that we can lead our team and we can help them. So I want to share with you the 5 techniques for getting out of your own way. Now, it's very easy to say, for someone to say to you, well, just do it. You just have to learn how to get out of your own way. But here's how you do it. I really want to break this down for you. So the first thing is to remember your why. Remember why you're doing what you're doing. Remember why you went into business. Remember why you wanted to take on this leadership role. And it brings you to all the good reasons of why you're doing what you're doing. You want to make an impact on the community. You want to serve people. You want to help people. You want to make an impact for your family. You have goals that you want to achieve. You want to learn new things. You want to advance. Lots of reasons why you're doing what you're doing. Remember that. Squash the negative talk and the negative habits that you have. Squash those. You've gotten through some tough times before, and there were lessons that you learned along the way, right? So take those lessons and be able to apply them. We've all had situations where we said, that's not going to happen again. I learned my lesson. We've all experienced that. So take those lessons, they're really valuable, and realize that you got through some tough stuff. And when it comes to these negative habits or bad habits, we know sometimes our triggers and what could set us off, right? Realize that and squash those bad habits and that negative talk. Acknowledge your uniqueness and your strengths. You may have a skill, you may have a talent, right? That you know, and that's part of your job, that's part of your career. It's what you're good at. But the experiences that you've had are different than someone else's, and you've learned things through those experiences. So understand what makes you unique and understand your strengths. Acknowledge those. The next one is your inner circle and self care. I believe that your inner circle, the people that you hang out with, the people that influence you, are actually part of your self care. It's really good for your mental health. So have a supportive, positive group of people in your world. These are people who accomplish goals. They get things done. They push themselves. They step out of their comfort zone. Be around those type of people. It's good to be around those type of people because they will encourage you. And practice self-care. There are times when you're going to need to take a break. Call up one of those people who's in your inner circle. Go for a walk, read a book, listen to a podcast, play with a little kid, laugh, but take care of yourself. And the last one is remove unnecessary pressure. There's a lot of pressure that the world can place on us and we can place on ourselves. Learn to say no. Forgive yourself when you make a mistake. Do not beat yourself up. And don't allow negativity to be your world. Don't wallow in it. We're all entitled to a bad day, but we don't want bad days to turn into bad weeks and bad months. We don't want to get stuck in negativity. We want to turn whatever happened into something positive. Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow will be better. I'll take what I learned today and tomorrow will be different. So by practicing these techniques, it's easier to realize that things aren't happening to you. They're part of life. Some days or weeks are going to be harder than others, but you'll learn that having a plan for life's challenges makes it easier to be flexible and adaptable when they happen. And you'll notice that you have choices on how to react, and you'll be able to better control situations and conversations with others, such as team members, suppliers, customers, the reviews that come through, accounts that you're dealing with, family, friends. It affects so many aspects of your life. So I just want to end this with the 5 techniques. If you didn't have a chance to write them down, I want to give them to you now. Remember your why was the first one. Second one is squash the negative talks and the negative or bad habits. The third is acknowledge your uniqueness and your strengths. The fourth is your inner circle and self-care. And the fifth one is remove unnecessary pressure. So I would love it if in the comments or on the replay, you could put in which one you've tried or which one works best for you out of those 5 techniques. Thanks for being here for this week's Business Leadership in 15 Minutes. I look forward to having you here next week. If you found this valuable, please share it with another business owner that you know that will benefit from it. So, everyone, have an enjoyable week.